Hi, my name is Mary Magdalene, and today I need to tell you the story of Jesus, of what happened to him. You see, I was there. Where do I begin? It's just so much. I know. I'm going to start on the day they arrested him. Jesus had gone to the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples, and he wanted to pray. You see, he knew what was going to happen, but his disciples, they didn't. And while they were praying, the soldiers came and arrested Jesus. Jesus. They took him to the court, and they were yelling and screaming, "Crucify him, crucify him." And when they were doing that, I was there. And my heart hurt. They wanted to crucify my Lord. He had done nothing wrong. He was so kind and so loving, so compassionate. Why would they want to do that? But you see, Jesus had been talking about this before, and none of us really got it. And it really wasn't until they led him up to Golgotha, and they nailed his hands and his feet to a tree. I thought my life was over. I was looking at the death of a man that I had followed and loved, and I thought he was the Messiah. I thought he was coming to save us. And now he's being put to death. I was crushed. I hurt. And he died. He cried out to his Father, and then he died. And it was raining, and it was cold, and it was awful. And Joseph came and asked to have his body be put into his own tomb, and they took him down. And they dressed him in burial clothes, and they laid him in the tomb. And I went so I could see where it was. And then I went home because the next day was the Sabbath, and we don't work on the Sabbath. And Sunday morning, a group of us ladies ran to the tomb. We wanted to go, and we wanted to anoint his body. We didn't get a chance to do that before, and we wanted to take care of him. But the Roman soldiers had placed a rock, a huge, humongous rock, in front of the tomb, so we couldn't move it. And we were talking amongst ourselves on our way there, saying, well, how are we going to remove this rock? What are we going to do? I don't know if any of us are even strong enough. And we got there, and you're not going to believe this, because I barely believed it myself. The stone had been rolled away. It was gone. It was not in front of the tomb. It was over off to the side. And we're like, what happened? All of us were just in shock. Did somebody steal Jesus? I went into the tomb and I looked around, and he wasn't there. The cloths that they had wrapped him in were laying there, but he wasn't. Someone must have stolen him. That's all I could think of. And then I'm awestruck just thinking about it. Right in front of me were two men, blindingly white, and they were bright, and I could barely look upon them. And they said, "Why are you here?" Very matter-of-factly, like, of course he's not here. He told you that he would rise, and he has. And my heart was like, oh, I don't know. I need to go talk to Peter. So I ran back into town because all the disciples were in this one place in an upper room, and I ran to them, and I'm like, Peter, you're not going to believe it. Jesus, he's risen. Just like he promised he would. He's risen. And Peter And John and a group of them, they just, even though they heard the same things that I had heard, they didn't believe it either. And they ran to the tomb. And they looked inside and he wasn't there. And they didn't know what to think. None of us, even though we had heard him say he was going to do that, we struggled. And then they left. And I stood outside the tomb and I was crying. My heart was broken. I mean, if they didn't believe and they had followed Jesus for 3 years, where was Jesus? And then I heard it. I heard a voice. And he said, Mary. I know that voice. I know that voice. It's just like say you know your parents' voice and you're outside playing and you hear, Jenny, come in for dinner. You don't think it's the neighbor. You know, oh, that's my mom. She's calling me. You know her voice. I knew that voice. And it was Jesus. And I turned around and I'm like, my Lord, it's so good to see you. Oh, my heart was so happy. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to give him a hug. He wouldn't let me yet. But I was so excited. And he told me, go tell the disciples what you've seen. And I did. I ran back and I said, I have seen the Lord. I've seen him. I know he's alive. And I remember everything he said, and it all came true. It was a miracle.